welcome you to the signing ceremony of the MOU between ZICAS and ZICA on the Bachelor of Accountants. I think I wouldn't want to go in more details in terms of what it contains. I'll leave that to the people who will be giving it marks.
Director of Ceremonies, on behalf of the board of ZICAS and the Council of ZICAS University, it's my rare honor and privilege to welcome you to this function at which we shall witness consummation of very dynamic relationship between our two institutions. It has been a long but short walk at the same time. Long in the sense that ZICAS, since establishment 1989 by Act of Parliament, the mandate of training accountants, then ZICA having been established as a regulator for the profession, a lot has happened. It's a long walk in that the profession has been existing for some time. Those of you from where you understand the very first accountants were trained outside, it was the desire of the government to have a local training institution at the same time as happening with other professions, so the profession regulate itself. As you are coming on the board as ZICA. And also, it's critical that we have synergy. So as training institutions and regulators, and also you are training in a way. We have been collaborating for some time. I went through some records where some of our people have been invited either as module writers or external examiners or reviewers of some modules, and vice versa. Some people from the profession have been working at ZICA sometime before we established a university 3.5 years ago.
This day marks an important milestone in the life of ZICAS University and ZICA in terms of academic and professional collaboration. The signing of the Memorandum of Understanding for ZICAS University to offer the Zambia Chartered Accountant degree of Bachelor of Science in Accountancy is not a despicable achievement. The significance of the offer of such a degree cannot be overemphasized, as such an arrangement provides an opportunity to ZICA diploma and ZICA licentiate graduates to obtain an academic degree en route to acquiring the full Chartered Accountant qualification. The combination of the two qualifications is quite a significant achievement to the accountancy profession, in that to enable the production of graduates with academic and professional skills that meet the public and private sector desire for well-qualified and competent accountants who are able to uphold the high standards required by ZICA and the accounting profession at large. I take great pleasure to inform this gathering that ZICAS, through the ZICAS University, is able to execute this task as a contribution to the advancement of the accounting profession in the country. This pursuit is in part a fulfillment of ZICA's core mandate as enshrined in the ZICAS Act No. 1 of 1989. In this vein, ZICAS applauds the strides that ZICA has taken in developing a national chartered accountant qualification that sits at par with such as the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. On behalf of the ZICAS board, I wish to register our delight in being part of this audience to witness the signing of the MOU between ZICAS University and ZICA that aims at enhancing the Chartered Accountant qualification by offering the Bachelor of Science in Accountancy degree as a value addition to both students and employers. This innovation responds to the market demand by employers for students to possess both academic and vocational skills at entry level and professional skills at supervisory and managerial levels. This further responds to the rigorous standards prescribed by regulators, including the Zambia Qualifications Authority and the Higher Education Authority. In line with this innovation, ZICAS University has proactively responded to this call by diversifying its portfolio to include both professional qualifications and academic degrees in its programs. This has been done with due consideration of the duration of study and the financial constraints faced by students in this pursuit. With this proactive action, ZICAS has now established itself as a one-stop shop for students who want to get both a professional and academic qualification under one roof. May I end my remarks by thanking the two institutions on this noble cause and look forward to a successful implementation of the MOU and seeing students graduate with both the ZICA Chartered Accountant and a Bachelor of Science in Accountancy qualifications in the shortest possible time. I thank you for your great attention.
On behalf of the Institute, I'm delighted to give remarks at this signing ceremony of the ZICA Joint Bachelor of Science degree in Accountancy. Indeed, I am delighted because this marks yet another milestone in the educational landscape of the accountancy profession in Zambia. Ladies and gentlemen, I am sure you are aware that it is now a trend for employers to require finance and accounting staff to possess both academic and professional qualifications. Long gone are the days when it is sufficient to possess only one of the two. Nowadays, a number of students tend to pursue academic qualifications first and then proceed on to their professional qualifications later. In response to this demand, the Institute engaged ZICAS University for possible partnership in offering an academic degree program for our CA Zambia students. True to one of ZICAS University's mandates, which is introducing various pathways through which students could follow to obtain accountancy qualifications, the university welcomed and embraced the idea. Today, we are here to witness the signing ceremony of the Memorandum of Understanding between the two institutions for the collaboration to award the Joint Bachelor of Science degree in Accountancy to CA Zambia students. The ZICA President, sir, the ZICA Board Chairperson, sir, ladies and gentlemen, in addition to responding to the demands of industry and commerce, this MOU will provide opportunities for ZICA accountancy students to pursue an academic degree program while studying for the CA Zambia qualification upon successful completion of the application level of the CA Zambia.
I welcome you all to the 2019 pre-annual general meeting workshop. It is very gratifying to see you all, and I'm indeed very delighted that you came in great numbers, the holiday notwithstanding. And I think we have some very interesting discussions lined up today, and I would really like to urge everyone to participate. We've got a stellar cast of speakers and presenters, so everything should go well. The success of the Institute borders on your support as members and your contribution to the thought leadership process, which underpins how the Institute engages with key stakeholders on matters that affect the accountancy profession and business. I am confident that the discussion themes which will be covered today are topical, very topical, and have great relevance on the day-to-day running of businesses now and going forward. We need to abreast ourselves with the provisions of the much anticipated sales tax bill of 2019, which is a major tax reform in Zambia, a true game changer. It's very topical, still under discussion in various fora, and it's something that's really key. And I'm very delighted that we have the Commission of Domestic Taxes here to give a presentation and give a bit more insight into how it will be working. And I'm sure, like me, a number of you still have a number of questions about how it's going to work. In addition, as members, we need to familiarize ourselves with the Employment Code Act of number 3 of 2019, which has strengthened provisions related to the conditions of service for employees and has significant implications for the accountancy profession and business. Distinguished guests, I am delighted that the Secretary and Chief Executive of the Pan-African Federation of Accountants, Mr. Vixon Nuge, accepted our invitation to make a presentation on ethics and integrity for professional accountants, which are very foundational topics for accountants. It's very key. And ethics is another topical issue. Wherever you go, there's talk about ethics, especially when you put accountants in the spotlight. There's questions of ethical conduct, fraud, this, that, and the other. So that's another great topic which we're going to be discussing today.
As an accountant officer, when an accountant approaches their work, when they tell you we want 3 quotations, as you are presenting them to them, technically, if they are ethical, they must look at those quotations not as factual, but as a possibility that these quotations could have been done by one company under 3 names. That is a critical point of mind as professional skepticism. The code of ethics must make every accountant realize that he or she is a defender of all the 6 capitals: natural, man-made, social and relationships, human, intellectual, and financial. Allow me therefore to suggest that when the African Union came up with Agenda 2063, they had provided a context in which we Africans, Zambians included, must exercise our ethical behavior. We need to find our relevance beyond our fees and salaries. We need to find ourselves playing in the larger public good. We must, as we claim to be people who work in the public interest. That is, the citizens of our countries and our continents. Simply put, we must serve the man and the woman in the streets. Allow me, therefore, to make a proposal to all of us that shall we all work together and reduce this contradiction of terms as part of our ethics. Let's stop talking about corruption, fraud, misappropriation. Can we just give a simple name? Theft. Accuse everyone of theft. If a person has done something, don't say that he's corrupt, just say he's a thief through corruption. Let us use the other thing he did as just an explanation, but basically theft. There will be no fraud, no misappropriation, no misapplication, just theft. If we did that, then we reduce the contradiction in society where people don't understand what we are talking about. The code of ethics, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, must inform our collective vision. Africa and Zambia is self-confident in its identity, heritage, culture, values, and as a strong, united, and influential partner in the global stage, making its contribution to peace, human progress, coexistence, and welfare. In short, a different Africa and a different Zambia. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
CFOs, You have fellows that are seated in front of me right now. And then someone can come to me and tell me, convince me that there is no Zambian who should be able to be a CFO in a foreign company because it has invested in Zambia. Does that make sense? It doesn't. So before you employ your CFO who is not Zambian, you must be able to prove to us that amongst you seated in this podium, you cannot do such a function. And of course, I'll come and ask the President, President, there is an application like this one here. You mean amongst your members, they cannot be CFOs? Now, that is also subject to some kind of maybe development agreements that we may agree, but we may maybe allow 4 people. But to have the whole section, the whole account section, the whole finance department led by people that are not Zambian, there is no single Zambian. If they're there on the lower end of things, it's not acceptable. So that is why that section is now making sure that a Zambian must be given first preference before you bring an expatriate. Because we know that obviously bringing an expatriate is slightly expensive than having a local employee.
We are sometimes overly optimistic about the benefits of IPSAS. And so there are some fantastic benefits about enhancing accountability and supporting better decision making, making sure that you have a whole of government picture of your balance sheet of the country. And these are all good things, but what most countries that have implemented IPSAS have found is that not all the benefits realized, certainly not in the short term. And so what's really important as a country is to say, what is it that we're trying to achieve with this reform? I am absolutely convinced that if we outsource IPSAS implementation to some consultant that a donor pays for from outside of our countries, that we won't succeed.
The performance of the VAT, which is doing very well starting 2017, and why drop when you've got a tax that is performing. If you look at the slides that I gave around the VAT, overall the VAT has been a problem. If you talk to those people that are in refund status, those that are expecting refund from us, they will tell you that they've been in those challenges. Because a good VAT works well when you look at the two sides. If your money is due from the authority to you as a business, it must be given and given on time. The law currently provides that this refund must be paid 30 days. And so if you are not paying, it means it starts affecting the cash flow of those businesses. But what we did in the interim, starting 2017, we appointed withholding tax agents. Of course, some of them were performing very well, others not. Meaning that collecting at source. So once you make a supply, the one you have made a supply to, you hold the money and it pays. And so that is what pushed the performance of the VAT. But that did not resolve the issue of the refund on the other side. If you look at the tax system, any tax system has got certain fundamentals. After you make certain adjustment to it, it ceases to be that tax type. A VAT must always have refunds if it's going to be a VAT tax system. The moment you temper with refunds, it ceases to be a VAT. A VAT system must always have zero rating of exports. And that's an internationally established principle. So you cannot temper with a tax system by removing or moving exports or making exports not zero rated. Then it ceases to be a VAT. You may go into that, but it may just turn out to be a different system. So, but what we are saying is that when we look at the structure of our economy, which has little value addition and many other aspects, we realize that that tax type does not fit into our expression. And therefore, that's why we are moving away from that tax type and to a sales tax. Assuming that in the future, the economy changes and is able to get that value, huge value addition, obviously, consideration can still be made to look at what tax type will be appropriate at that point.
Now, as PwC, we ran a survey of banks and non-bank financial institutions for 2018, and we asked a few questions around IFRS 9, because this is now practically what has happened as you have been implementing IFRS 9. And so 100% of the commercial banks responded, so that's 18 out of 18. And for the microfinance, non-bank financial institutions, there were 24 out of 47. So a fairly representative sample. So these are some of the practical challenges that were encountered. So number one, building the models. I'm sure a number of you have had to engage actuaries, etc. Sadly, even though we are powerful accountants, we have to admit that some things are not particularly within our realm of expertise. And so actuaries have been quite key, especially for financial institutions. Factoring forward-looking information, you have to remember that IFRS 9 is an expected credit loss model. That means you are modeling what you expect to happen. This is not sitting down and saying, okay, what do we actually think? Okay, what happens with inflation? There is an actual process by which you first go back and assess what factors have most affected your impairment. Once you understand that, you make an assessment of what is likely to happen to these factors going into the future, and then you make inferences onto your actual impairment at a particular point in time. It sounds easy, but it is not as easy as described.
Now, what is an authentic dispute resolving or resolution? This is the definition that Brown and Marriott gave in 1999. It's a range of procedures that serve as alternative to litigation through the courts for the resolution of disputes, generally involving the intercession and assistance of neutral and impartial third party. Basically, put it in short, what we are saying is an alternative dispute resolving method is basically a way of resolving our disputes outside of the courts.
Okay, let's get those hands up.
Kids, 57% of them are failing fitness tests. And the fitness test is simply holding a plank for a minute, doing more than 60 push-ups in 1 minute. We started eliminating ourselves. Okay? Yeah?
I think arising from what Mr. Nchume has said, as ZICA, I think we've been given a lot of space by the government in terms of being consulted on a lot of things. But I feel maybe there isn't that power to change a few things, like in terms of the sales tax and the VAT.
With regards holding out, which is one of the offences in the Accountants Act, I wanted to find out if your office has been able to prosecute any cases, or if you have had any cases reported, and if there have been no prosecutions done, what do you think?
to come and say hello to the crowd.
And I think what I sense in the room is a lot of enthusiasm to be able to go through tomorrow and through to the annual board and make sure that tomorrow you do deliver on your promises. So me
and the eve of the ZICA annual general meeting, Let me take the opportunity of welcoming you to this impromptu cocktail and take the liberty of sharing some thoughts with you as a senior citizen and a fellow member of ZICA.
A great honor and privilege for me to welcome all of you to the official opening of the 34th Annual General Meeting of the Zambia Institute of Chartered Accountants this morning in the heart of our tourist capital, Livingstone. Guest of honor, the Minister of Finance, I wish to extend our warmest thanks and appreciation to you for joining us today despite your very busy schedule. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all our distinguished guest speakers, sponsors, and everyone else who contributed to the successful hosting of various events from Thursday to date. As a result of your participation, we successfully hosted the signing ceremony of the ZICA MOU on the accelerated bachelor's degree in accountancy for CA students. And also the pre-AGM workshop, the President's cocktail, the 34th Annual General Meeting, and later in the evening, the annual ball. This deserves a round of applause.
I wish to welcome you all to the 34th Annual General Meeting of the Zambia Institute of Chartered Accountants. Guest of honor, I wish to thank you for honoring us with your presence, despite your very busy schedule, especially at this time of the year when you're traveling across the country, sensitizing the public on the issue of the proposed sales tax bill, and no doubt thinking about how to deal with the currency issues. So we really thank you for being with us this morning. We wish to reassure government through you of our resolve to continue being available, relevant, and reliable partners in our role as advisor to government and as a regulator and membership body of the accountancy profession in Zambia. Ladies and gentlemen, the ZICA AGM is a special moment in the year as it provides us all an occasion to introspect on the progress or lack thereof that we have made individually and collectively as accountants. The year 2018 was an important year for the Institute, in which a strong foundation was laid for the continued success of the accountancy profession. In the advent of some major tax changes, including the proposed sales tax bill of 2019, scheduled to be implemented later this year, the Institute conducted various tax update workshops and consultative meetings for members and the general public to sensitize them on the new tax developments. The Institute would like to commend the government for postponing the implementation of the sales tax to allow for wider consultation with key stakeholders. May I take this opportunity to appeal to all stakeholders to accept the invitation from government to provide comments on the sales tax bill as early as possible. We would like to thank the Minister of Finance and the Zambia Revenue Authority for continuously engaging ZICA on issues of national interest, such as the sales tax bill. This shows how much the government considers ZICA as a partner in the economic development agenda of our country. We are glad to mention that on 1st of February 2019, ZICA signed a mutual recognition agreement between the competent authorities of professional accountants and auditors under the Accelerated Program for Economic Integration, APAI. The APEI is an initiative of 5 Southern African countries, namely Malawi, Mauritius, Mozambique, Seychelles, and Zambia, who agreed to accelerate their economic integration by harnessing foreign investment, creating enhanced employment opportunities, and fostering higher economic growth through sharpening their competitive edge. A key pillar of the API agenda is the facilitation of movement of business people and professionals between APEI countries. ZICA believes that the signing of this MRA is a key milestone.
Distinguished guests, I must hasten to mention that gatherings such as this one play an important role in fostering unity and are a rare occasion during which we must take stock of successes and failures during the past 12 months as an institute and as individuals, professional accountants. The AGM would have failed to achieve its goals if we did not find time to network and also relax after a busy work schedule, as we did last night. I therefore urge all of you to find time to enjoy many activities which Livingston, as a tourist capital, has to offer. The ZICA President, ladies and gentlemen, this government notes with satisfaction the achievements that you as an institute and profession have made during the past year, which have been well tabulated in the 2018 annual report of the institute. As a senior member of the profession, as a fellow, yes, you can clap for me. As a senior member of the profession, I'm delighted to learn of these successes and congratulate all of you for a job well done. I urge you to press on for even greater results during 2019 and beyond. May I also take this opportunity to assure you that the government will continue to support your activities and programs. I'm aware of your plans to develop the 5,000-seater Shungu Namutitima International Convention Center, alongside the development of a 5-star hotel, a 3-star hotel, 10 presidential villas, and an 18-hole championship golf course on 107 hectares of land which the Institute owns in this beautiful city. Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency the President, Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, gave our government's commitment to support this bold project on the sidelines of the Eastern Southern African Association of Accountant Generals Conference, held in February 2019, by providing the Institute with a sovereign guarantee to enable the Institute to secure affordable finance. We're happy to give you that. I reaffirm the position of His Excellency the President on this and look forward to receiving the necessary documents from the Institute to move the process forward. Mr. Sichembe, please let's work quickly to get this sovereign guarantee in place. Development of Shungu Namutitima International Convention Center will enable Zambia host major international conferences in the heart of the tourist capital, which boasts of one of the 7 wonders of the world, the mighty Victoria Falls. As a government, this is the type of development we hope other investors and professional bodies can emulate, and also to contribute to job creation, diversification of the economy, as well as to enhance Zambia's competitiveness as a business and tourist destination. These, ladies and gentlemen, are key objectives under the 7th National Development Plan and Vision 2030. I therefore wish to also urge all members of the Institute to support this project. I'm also aware that you're making significant strides, Mr. President, to develop an ultra-modern multi-story office. My ministry is exploring modalities which will enable government to pay the annual subscription for the accountants in government to ZICA. I encourage the private sector to do the same. I therefore urge all employers in the country to make sure that you only employ accountants who are registered with ZICA. Employing accountants who are not registered with ZICA is an offence under the Accountants Act of 2008, and employers are accordingly warned. The government is very committed to supporting the Institute in making sure that persons masquerading as accountants and employers who recruit such persons who are not registered with the Institute face the law.
Why can't we align the Pension Act so that, for example, if I'm contributing to NAPSA, which I'm very particular of, that pension can act as my collateral, for example, in accessing funds, so that we reinvest that money in the economy, because the time to create business is now, not after 65. And if we were going to wait for 65, then I would have run out of the ideas. So why can't I have access to money?
We are going around the entire country for consultative meetings with stakeholders regarding the sales tax. I would love to know, to what extent have you engaged these able accountants who are professionals in tax?
An economic review around how much is actually being generated from those assets. So we actually quantified, I think would help in terms of either allaying the fears that may be there regarding the extent of borrowing that has been undertaken, as well as assuring us all that that is investment that our children will be able to benefit from, and that will generate sufficient resources to pay back the borrowings that have been accumulated in the process. So that would be my submission. We are at your disposal to assist. That is an area that we as accountants thrive in terms of number crunching and looking at the return on investment. And I'll just encourage your office to consider that as something, as a deliberate exercise in terms of communicating back, either to allay the concerns that may be there, or to help us then make a reasonable assessment if there is indeed a gap between how much has been invested and how much has been borrowed. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is my privilege and pleasure to welcome all of you to the 2019 annual ball for the Institute. Ladies and gentlemen, this annual event provides you, members of the Institute, a rare opportunity to unwind and share a light moment after the annual general meeting and the meetings that preceded it. Ladies and gentlemen, the successful performance of the Institute is a collective responsibility of Council, members of the Institute, management and staff. I therefore wish to thank you for the support you render to the Institute and to Council members and all various members of the committees of Council. Thank you for the oversight that enabled the Institute to remain on course in fulfilling its mandate. Lastly, but not least, I also wish to thank management and staff of the Institute for their hard work and dedication to duty during the year and during the events of the last 1 week. Well done to them. Ladies and gentlemen, may I once more say thank you to all of you for your support rendered to the Institute during the year and the year 2018. On behalf of management, we look forward to working with you again in this year and beyond. I thank you. It is my honor to invite the President to come through to award the ZICA Award to an outstanding member. Mr. President, you may be able to come through. The award goes to Mr. Kirian Naik.
I would like to welcome you all very warmly to the 2019 annual ball. And guests of honor, I wish to thank you for accepting our invitation to officiate at the 2018 annual ball despite your very, very busy schedule. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to express my gratitude to the immediate past ZICA president, Mr. Wesley Vene, invited guests, council members, all members of the Institute, sponsorship partners, the CEO and staff, for all your generous support and effort in contributing to the successful hosting of various events from Thursday to date. As a result of your participation, we very successfully hosted the 2019 pre-AGM workshop, the 2019 President's Cocktail, the 34th Annual General Meeting, and lastly, this 2019 Annual Ball. And this deserves a round of applause. I'd like to say thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, without much ado, it gives me great pleasure to invite the guest of honor, the Deputy Secretary to Cabinet, Mr. Christopher Mvunga, to give his address and officially open the 2019 Annual Ball. Guest of honor, sir.
I wish to highlight some areas for which cooperation and partnership between the Government of the Republic of Zambia and the Institute is expected to be undertaken this year and beyond. As you are aware, the government has chosen to adopt IPSAS by 2024 as a financial reporting framework for the public sector, which includes state-owned enterprises. The development of the IPSAS has its origins in the accountant's profession and as a way to enhance the accountability and transparency of public sector financial management, which contributes to strengthening public confidence in the public sector. There is a compelling evidence that IPSAS will give public sector entities better clarity on their financial position, enhance standardization of financial information, thus helping them improve efficiency in their auditing process, financial reporting, and policy development. It is closely with the Ministries of Finance and Justice to address all issues related to the work of concluding the bill, this is the Accountants Bill 2019, so that it can be presented to Parliament for consideration and enactment.
Chase up,